Okay, we're gonna call it down to order. First, we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
First wife.
Yeah, well, I'm not standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we have any public comment?
No.
Okay. Okay, now I need a vote on the regular meetings of May 5th, 2015. I need a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need another vote for minutes of special meeting of May 26th, 2015. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I forgot the discussion part of it. Anyone have anything to say on it? No? Okay.
So that was 5?
Yeah.
Did you vote in?
Yeah, everybody voting in favor. Okay, now just discussion for the proposed household inspection policy.
Is that Ms.
It was
Power?
in the packet.
It was?
Yeah.
I didn't see
The
it.
new one?
Yeah, when you got today.
The one I just got?
Oh, the one we just got at the table.
No. It was
No,
in the...
I did not.
We didn't,
I didn't get it.
all I got was the
It
minutes
didn't
and
come
the
in our
agenda.
packets.
It did
It
not
was
come
on
in
the
the
table.
packets.
Right.
No, we got.
So we need to just take a minute to read
And
it.
I don't have that either.
All I have is the agenda and 2 sets of minutes.
So what did you
That's all
got
I
in the
got.
envelope?
I just got my, the agenda and
2 sets of minutes.
2 sets of minutes.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's all I
Look
got
to see
too.
if they're in here.
They are in there.
They are.
They were on the table. Wait, what do you have there?
This
Do these have to be voted on tonight? Today?
Nope.
Can
You haven't had a chance to review them, so we're
Right.
gonna have to push it
Either
off.
that or
Okay,
we take
can
a
I get-
minute to read them.
Can I get, I'd rather just
Push it off.
push it off till our next meeting. I'd like to take the motion for the household inspection policy to put on hold until our next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same with the proposed lock-in key policy.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right, wait a minute, how did that go?
I made a motion,
And-
Marie seconded it.
Yeah. To hold it off till the meeting, next meeting.
And a motion for the proposed entry policy. I'd like to have another motion to hold that until our next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Executive Director's Report.
Okay, so, as far as the vacancies, we have 2 at Stoneville Heights. They're both second floors. They were residents that transferred from the second down to the first floor. Vacancies, we're waiting for keys on both of those units. And then we'll house somebody. And Packagug in the state side, we have 1 second floor apartment. We've reached our non-elderly quota, so we're going to be looking for an elderly emergency to fill that unit. We have 1 3-bedroom at Pheasant Court. That person actually transferred up to Packagug Village, and we have considerable repairs to do in that unit, so it may take longer than what we normally have, and that will go to the emergency waiting list.
Go ahead.
I have a question. If the person moved to another unit, was there an emergency episode that happened that it requires that much?
She was overhoused. She was in a 3-bedroom, and she didn't need 3 bedrooms. She needed 1 bedroom.
Okay. But I just wondered whether, you said it's highly damaged. Is it just because it's been full so long? Or? Okay. Thank you.
They were in there for a number of years,
Thanks.
but it may take longer than what we normally,
Right.
because of the repairs. So hopefully not, but it may. And then we had the asbestos testing done And the asbestos was found in the flooring, because we used asbestos tiles in the entryway. But as far as the doorway, which is going to be replaced, there wasn't any asbestos in the doorway. So it's just in the floor. So as long as we don't...
Disrupt them.
Right, and even the floor tiles, it isn't to a significant amount of asbestos either.
Well, that's good.
But that's where the asbestos was found. And it cost us like $500 something to have the testing done, and I'll include the cost in our next capital plan for next year to get the money back.
Now, I'm sorry, did you say that was in the original portion of package?
Yeah, the old section of package.
It's just the hallways?
And just the hallways. The old section's getting new doors. So in order to proceed with that, we had to make sure we didn't have asbestos in the doorway, because then we would have had to abate that problem prior to changing the doors out. But as it is, we don't have to do that. We can go forward with just the doors.
Is that unless they damage the floor?
Unless
and
they
take it
damage
off?
the floors. But we did get a grant from the state for that, so we'll be working on that in the coming weeks to get that squared away. But the cost of the testing we'll put on next year's capital to recover that money from the state. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the asbestos. Then we had the HUD inspection here, and we did pretty good. We had 3 problems that were noted. So instead of getting 100, we received a score of 95 on the inspection.
That's wonderful, Scott.
And we had to abate the 3 problems to make sure that it was, in one of the mechanical rooms, there's a mirror. They had a mirror, and they looked under, and there was a 1/4 inch of a gap in one of the electrical. So we had to get the electrician in to fix it. We would never have seen it. Now we're gonna get one of those mirrors that they use.
To look behind?
So you can check.
Yeah.
Now you know. Yeah.
Yep, they went right up underneath it. And so
You did a fantastic
good job.
job.
But it's probably been like that for a million years.
he said it was,
To look at it.
when Mark came on in, he said it was original to the building. It's been like
From
that
86.
since the very beginning, but because nobody ever went under there with a mirror, they never noticed it.
Every year it's something.
They have to find
They have to
something.
find something.
So what are the
So
other 2 things? Can you share?
then the other thing was, in one of the family units, she had washed the floor in the laundry room. And the laundry room houses the furnace
Yep.
in those apartments. She happened to knock the cover off, didn't tell us that the cover was off. So when the inspector went in the apartment, we got written up for that. And then the third thing, that was, if the tenant had told us, we would have had an opportunity to go down, put the cover back on, but we didn't know. And then the third thing was, when they install the new water heaters, the pipe is supposed to be a certain number of inches off the floor. The pipe wasn't long enough, but that was the plumber. The plumber, when he installed it, should have made it longer, but we should have, I guess, gone around with a ruler to check the plumber's work to make sure that we had the number of inches, because that's what the inspector did. They measured out, and we were deficient there. So those were the 3 deficiencies.
Well, I think both the maintenance department and you were to be commended for the good inspection, and also the residents, because
Yep.
they are keeping up their apartments so that when you have to have them inspected, the inspections come out well.
So that part worked out really well. Now we're not gonna get inspected, this is the best part. We're not gonna get inspected for 3 more years.
3 years.
Oh.
That's good.
So that gives us an opportunity to fix things that we know
Yeah.
we want to fix by the time the next inspection comes out. So after I got the report about the inspection, then I got a letter from HUD. Dear Executive Director, this letter is to advise you that our score, when they look at the physical, the financial, the management, and the capital fund, we scored 96 out of 100.
Wow, fantastic.
So we are a high performer, and that means we get more money for the capital fund. So that was the best part.
How many years now have we been high performing? Because I know we were on our last inspection also.
We were on the last inspection, but prior to, when I first started, we were in 85. So we have brought it up,
It's real good.
It's
you
excellent.
know, because it gives us more money. Plus, they leave us alone. They figure we're
Plus, it
doing.
makes you look better too, not
It
just
makes
the
us
money,
look
but it
better.
makes you look like you're keeping the upkeep and everything you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so on the list that comes out of all the top performing housing authorities, we're there,
Right.
which is a good thing.
And which is good, and if we keep it up, then we won't, you know, we'll be all set when the next inspection comes up because we're
Right.
doing it right along.
Right. So I was happy because on the last one, it was the first time the back of Packagug and Pine Brook were included. So to get a 95 when you have family units, you know what I mean? We had a lot of units for us, and we had family units that were inspected. So to do that well, that was a big accomplishment. The maintenance staff really did a good job. So I was pretty happy with that. And then the 96 is just, that's the icing on the cake.
Right,
Because that takes in the management,
everything.
the financial piece, that's the rest of it. So that was that. And
Good job.
Yes.
And that's been pretty much it. I found a class on, it's the Mass Housing Partnership Institute, Housing Institute. They're having a class tomorrow at Fort Devens. And from what I can see, it looks like it's like how to go about getting housing.
What time is it?
What do you mean, how about?
It's sign up for Housing Institute, it's like setting the stage, takes it from the very beginning, moving to implementation. It talks about the needs.
Can you share those materials with us?
Absolutely. Because I'm sure I'm not going to understand most of it. It says, where to begin assessing housing needs and creating plans. So all the handouts, we'll get the handouts, we'll copy them, and then everybody can read it.
Great.
And it talks about the needs assessment, housing plans and housing production plans. What's the difference? What tools or resources are available to you to adequately determine housing needs for your town? What kind of plan is right for your community? And then it goes, what makes a good site? What are indicators of a good site? How do you choose? Soup to nuts picture of all the steps in housing development, including roles and responsibilities. And housing developments with fewer units make sense in many of our suburban and rural communities, but can present a unique set of development challenges. So it looked like it kind of talked about housing right from the very beginning and kind of walked us through it. So I figured I'm probably not going to know a whole lot, but the Rita Farrell from Mass Housing Partnership sent me an email, and she said she looked forward to seeing me at the second session on Wednesday. Because when I looked at who actually she sent that to, a lot of it were towns. Not so much housing authorities, but towns. So I figured, well, she's going to probably know that I'm not going to really know a lot about this. But at least I'll have somebody to kind of zero in on. She's been with them for a long time.
That's good.
It's a great resource.
This is definitely something we need to
It's
look
probably
into now.
towns, yeah, it's probably towns that don't already have a housing authority.
Or that are looking for more.
Right.
You know what I mean, like town planners or whatever. But I thought that this would be a good
Absolutely.
Tool
entry,
for us.
and it was only $125. So I didn't think that was
It's a
bad.
bargain.
And it's at Fort Devens,
Yep.
and at least if I can hook up with some people that maybe have done this before,
Mhm.
kind of like we do with everything else,
Yeah.
you know, and get an idea of what
Where we're
this
going
is.
and what we
We'll
need
copy
to
all
do.
the materials that they get, because I'm gonna, you can only pick, you have to pick, but I'm gonna ask them for the materials from the other.
Yeah, that would be great.
We
Even
gotta
if
get
we
the
had-
most bang for our buck.
Even if we had
Absolutely.
to, I mean, I would support even if we had to buy, even if we had to pay money for more materials or something.
Well, and you know what, I don't think that, I mean, I could, I can certainly bring the materials back and,
Depends on how big they are, you know.
right, but we'll get
Get
it
the
done.
materials and go through it, and when
Yeah.
if we think we need more, we'll get them more.
But I mean, at least this gives us some names of people that,
Contact.
from the
It
different,
helps us to understand the process.
from the different workshops. And it's a start for us from housing going this way.
That's right.
Instead of being told from the town or whoever coming back at us, this will give us a place to start.
Knowledge is always a good thing.
And if we need to do a plan, at least they can explain to me
Right.
what it is, so that when we go out to bid,
The needs assessment, you'll know
right,
exactly what
because you
need.
were saying that when you met with Sean,
Right.
that
That's the first step, he said.
he was
needs
talking
assessment.
about the needs assessment, that's track 1, session 1.
See, yep.
So that's right at the very beginning. So
How many sessions are there gonna be, do you know?
it looks like it starts at 8:30, that's the registration, and it goes till 4:15. And it's at Fort Devens. And the same thing on Thursday. But it looks like they have 2 different sessions going, and then a lunch, and then more sessions in the afternoon. But I'm thinking that even if they won't give us all the materials, I can contact these people individually
And get
Yes,
the
I
information.
get it.
to get the information.
Absolutely.
And then we can do it kind of at our own pace. Like, it looks like where to begin is the housing needs, creating the plans.
Right.
So if we don't get a good chunk of information, maybe you could take the names of these people. Any of you can take the names of these people, contact them with specific questions that we
Right.
can come up with,
Yep.
and then boom.
And
But we
can
can say we participated in this, but we had additional questions.
Right, yeah.
We can come up with these questions as a board,
Yeah.
and then ask the questions,
Right.
so that all of us aren't calling them at the same time.
But if we have materials
Right.
to review, then
Right.
we can formulate our questions based upon the
That's-
materials.
That's what,
And then
exactly what I
one
was
person
saying.
can call and
Right.
inquire,
That's
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
email or something.
I'm good.
that's
So I mean,
exactly what I was
I
saying.
just thought that instead of us being overwhelmed,
I think this is a great opportunity.
you know.
It's good
this-
timing.
And it's a good, I thought so too.
Yeah.
So I'll be at Devon's on tomorrow and Thursday at this.
And
This, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, this might be a good opportunity. I wanted to talk just briefly about the selectmen's meeting last night. Relative to, well, first of all, as you probably know, the Facilities Reuse Committee did vote to recommend to the town, the Housing Authority, well, they recommended to elderly housing for Julia Bancroft with the primary recipient, hopefully to be the Auburn Housing Authority. And last night, the town manager discussed that because that was a recommendation from that committee to her. And they're going to be doing, they're going to be studying that over the next, I don't know, couple of months to determine what the costs would be associated with turning that over. They want to keep the rear part of school for open space and for the recreational facility that's still there, you know, that's there for the kids. But the town does seem to be on board with supporting that, I thought. And the other thing I wanted to tell you about was the town, the selectmen and the town manager have established a new open space committee. And I'm on it, and I'm the chairman as of last night. But anyways, the first thing we have to look at, the charge of the committee, I should tell you, is that we're going to be looking at all the town-owned open property to see what uses might be appropriate for it. And there's property all over the community that we own that's just sitting there. So anyways, the first priority is the property at South Old Road that we just bought, the 49-point-something acres that we spent $3 million to buy. But in any event, the town right now, that's our top priority, and we have to decide on whether we want to keep the entire 50 acres almost for municipal use or split it up in some fashion so that they can decide on whether they have to bond it based on a taxable versus a non-taxable portion. So anyways, there's been some discussion and it's very preliminary, and I only spoke, and I made it clear I was only speaking for myself, not representing the Housing Authority. I said that last night. But we did talk about housing. And it may not be, and again, it's only preliminary, but it's just an idea. I like to keep options on the table, and the selectmen seem to be open to the idea of exploring it, and you know, and maybe it's not the best place because, you know, but there is a bus route on the other end of South Old Road that comes up Greenwood. Because I'm thinking, well, the proximity of that, from that side to the plaza where Price Chopper is, and there's a bank there, and there's Burlington Coat Factory and other services. But anyways, it's just very, very preliminary. But the town, my point in bringing it up is that the town seems open and receptive to the idea of elderly housing, which I think is a good thing. And I think if we can continue to develop that, I think it can only be positive things for us because we all agree that there's a huge need.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, you know, again, it's very, very preliminary, but I just think, you know, would it be wonderful if we could do both? You know, and maybe we can't do anything with an open property. Maybe we can't build brand new. I don't know. But I don't want to shut the door. And I think this is an excellent opportunity because I'd like to become more educated on the process. It's always been kind of a mystery to me. That whole Kateri project, when it developed, was all, it just seems like it developed. And I don't really understand how.
But it took
A long time.
2 years.
2 years.
Right.
It's gonna take years, no matter which.
No matter what you do, it's going to,
And it was the third grant application that Pat actually filled out for them, that's what they.
and then there
that's
was a
what
delay too because 25% of the funding had to come from the
Yes.
state as opposed to HUD. And so there was a delay in that because the state it took time to come up with the money. So anyways, I just wanted to, you know, in case any of you watched the selectmen's meeting or you might have been watching last night, I didn't want anyone to think I'm in no fashion representing the board. I'm basically just gathering information.
Well, you were there for open space anyway. Right?
Yeah, it was a joint meeting with the selectmen. We met for the first time at 6 o'clock. We're having another meeting Monday. Hopefully we'll have some residents from the South Old Road area come to tell us what they all think. Everybody's got to, you know, you got to keep your mind open. I mean, one guy thinks we should have stables up there, so I don't know. But no one's looking to build huge, you know, 400 units of housing or anything like that, but just something reasonable. But I just wanted to, you know, bring it up so that it just seems to go with that, so.
Yeah. I just want to remind people again that, you know we could fill the housing 3 times over probably because there's so many people without homes and the economy is not that great and a lot of people are losing their jobs and they're losing their homes and they need the housing.
And a lot of us are getting older and we're approaching that age where
Yes.
you know, we have to make decisions, and so.
And Auburn is a town of elderly people, really. There's
It
an
is
awful lot of elderly people.
It is an older
in
town.
Auburn.
It definitely is. I forgot what the average age is, but it is definitely an older population.
Well, if this pans out, and we can pull some materials out of this so that we can ask some reasonable questions as far as developing the need piece of it.
Right.
I think that's a good place for us
To
to
start.
start, even as far as presenting it to the town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we can document it the right way,
Right.
and go from there, but I just don't want us to always be behind the 8 ball.
Right.
I wanted us to have some information ourselves and not always kind of be like,
That's right.
well, we'll get back to you on that, we'll get back to you on that. I mean, there's ways to go about, like Kateri is all elderly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a 202 project.
So there's different ways to go about that. Say we want to do all elderly, or 200 is all veterans. I mean, that might be another option for us as to where the grants are. I mean, maybe they'd give us money
Well, that's the
for
thing,
a veterans building and also an elderly building, maybe on 2 different sites, depending on the 96 performance rate with HUD is gonna,
Good thing.
Yeah.
it's gonna say, well, okay, you know, what they've got right now, they're doing okay with, you know. So that works to our advantage. Finding out for our benefit how we present the housing authority in the best light that way. And then I think we'll come off as more in the know as opposed to behind the 8 ball.
Right.
And proactive.
And proactive.
Yeah. I think this is a perfectly timed opportunity.
I thought, geez, do they know about it? Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, the timing of it was pretty good. So,
Well, we just don't have the knowledge, but the more information we gather, like you're saying, the more information we gather, we move forward, we'll be ahead of it.
and I'll approach these other people for, you know, I mean, I can only go to one, but I'll approach the others for the information that they're given, and I'll tell them why. Because we're gonna need them as a resource.
Roberta?
I was just gonna say, you know, I just wanna make sure that we make these questions all together so everybody on the board has input on the questions.
Well, I think everything should be back to the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, whether you get too many questions, you want to bring it down, have a vote on what questions you feel viable enough to ask, or whatever we need to do. Yeah, it should be
It's a wonderful project to work together on. It really is.
That's what we need to do.
That's right.
And on open space,
That's
and all the
helpful.
conservation experience, I think that's really
Yeah, it's
a
positive.
plus for us, because
Absolutely.
she's gonna know.
I won't let you build in a wetland.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Even if we use a canoe?
No. No, it's not safe to transport people in a canoe.
Oh.
I appreciate that. That's a huge help.
Yes.
So that's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
Okay, any member items? I would like to say something. I am, as you know, newly chairman of the committee. I was totally in shock at the last meeting when that happened. I was lost for words, believe it or not. And I would just like to say I'm going to do the best I can as chairman. I will work with the board for the housing. I'm here for everybody. If you need anything from me, you're more than welcome to call me, and it will be referred to directions where it needs to go, and we'll move forward on from there. And I want to thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I didn't vote, so, but
We're going to leave that one alone.
You're going to give us your phone number, sir?
Sure. My phone number is 508-832-3581.
Thank you.
My cell number is 508-414-414.
014?
It's all right. 4836.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you. I have you on
You're not a voting member.
I have you on speed dial anyway.
Yeah, okay. Any other member items or concerns, or go back to public comment then?
I have a concern about the Packagug Village traffic.
Yes.
It's posted 5 miles per hour. Some people come flying in there 30 and more miles per hour. Also, it's supposed to be one-way traffic, and it isn't. A great many of the residents will drive the wrong way. And would it be possible to perhaps paint arrows, one-way arrow, or put some signs on that side of the village? Because there are a great many of us elderly up there, and with the walkers and with the canes going through the cars to cross over, somebody's going to get hurt because they travel too fast and so many times the wrong way. So I'd like to see what can be done about it.
Can you look at that, Laurie, and see what you think, and bring it back to us at the next meeting, your findings and results of it?
You know what? I think it's actually going on in both developments, and we
Okay.
took the speed bumps out because they were damaging the plows. But there are temporary speed bumps that we could put back, could put back in for the spring, summer, fall,
Yeah.
and then just
And
take
we
them out
For the winter.
for the winter. So that's
That would
one
be a
thing we
good
could
idea.
do. I noticed out here, even with the circle, the traffic should all be bearing right and then coming around, but there aren't any signs indicating that. So if I get the one-way arrow signs, I don't know about like painting them, but I think if we put the signage up at both places, PV and Stoneville, I mean, it might help.
Yeah, but I think if you do paint them though, people will notice them more if they're in the middle of the road and they're driving. You know, sometimes people see signs and sometimes they just overlook them.
Is that something you think we can do, or is that something I'd have to hire somebody to paint the arrows?
Don't know, but I know the DPW in town has their own machine and the stencils to do that. Maybe they'd be willing to help. It's worth giving them a call and asking them.
Yep.
And, I mean, they have the whole setup already. It's only a matter of maybe a few hours to get the whole thing done.
And even if they charged us,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
would
you
still,
can charge it for the
wouldn't be
paint
a
or
big
something.
deal.
No, it'd be less than
Pay for the paint?
the vendor, yeah.
And
Yep.
then,
Yeah.
I would think that'd be worth a try. Yes, Joyce?
Are we still gonna be doing that paving? Because I wanna wait till the paving.
Oh, yeah.
right,
If you're gonna pave it, yeah.
yeah. They wanted a lot of money. The company I was gonna use, I wanted them prior to the inspection. Now I think I'm gonna go back. I never actually signed an agreement with them because they couldn't guarantee they were gonna come before the inspection. I think I'm gonna go back out to bid on that
Yeah.
and see if I can get it cheaper because they wanted a lot of money. And I don't think it was reasonable.
Well, then if you're gonna do it that way, it probably would be good to put up some signs for now and then see if you're gonna asphalt it. Then if you do asphalt it, then you can put the painted part in later.
Yeah.
But still, it'd be a good thing to talk to the DPW and see if they'll be willing to do it.
Okay.
Yes, Joyce?
I don't know if we have the video up and back, yeah. In the sky, so to speak.
No, we don't have
No.
cameras up and back.
They're really concerned. I mean, you probably know one woman had 2 flat tires. Tried to get into her gas tank. Then she got one with a lock on it and they didn't like that, so they smashed it. No?
Okay.
There's little damage going on out there, you know? And I don't know what time it happens, but
So we're gonna have to look for money.
For cameras.
You might
or
have to
something.
even
remove
if they have the police just go around, you know? At odd hours on the night shift.
Are they reporting this stuff to the police?
I don't,
I'll call and see if
I
there
know,
are
I
any police
don't know,
reports.
I know one person that did report it.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
While we're looking into it, the best way is make sure that the people having these problems are reporting it to the police, so we have a record of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was, but I'm not positive, because I get kind of secondhand, because I'm so far
Right.
in the back, I can't see what goes on, you know?
Then I got a couple things with parking up a package truck, 2 in the back. Not enough spaces, and people have to walk up from the front and go through the back. I went and looked at it. I thought there's a possible way to make 2 more up there, but you know, that's not guaranteed. And then I seen, I talked to you about people parking in handicap stalls without handicap emblems. But I think we need to make sure.
But now, for some of these issues, like people parking in the handicap spot without a placard, who are we gonna get to patrol the parking lots?
Well, I think as you have the maintenance men going around town, they can take a look, they can look to see if there's people in there while they're working.
Okay.
You know, I'm not saying you're gonna go up there every 20 minutes, half an hour and look at these places. I'm just saying, you know, if you're driving through, you can take
So
a
it's-
look. Because I know there was 2 of
You
them
told
parked
me
there.
about 2, yeah.
And, go ahead.
Plus, if you have a handicap placard, you can park anyway.
That's right.
Right. But if you don't, that's the problem.
That-
There's 2
that is
cars
the
that
problem.
didn't have it.
Right. I understand that.
Would it be wrong if a resident sees it happening and calls the police on it?
I think it'd probably be best to call the office and let them call the police to deal with it. That's my opinion.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
it's, unless Laurie has a different avenue on it, but,
We don't want to set any fights with the neighbors.
right, yes.
The other part of this is we have to remember it's independent living, so they're responsible for whatever they're doing.
Yeah, but still,
But if they're parking in
we're
the wrong-
responsibility,
Right.
the property and the land, and if they're violating
excuse me.
laws that we're making.
You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
What I was gonna say is if they're parking in handicapped spots,
Right.
and the residents call the police and tell them they're parking in handicapped spots, I would think they could get a ticket.
The police should ticket it,
Yes.
Can we take it in the private parking lot?
and they can. We can tow them, but I don't know, I mean, we usually give notice before we tow.
Right. Well, it's something to look into anyway.
Okay, so it's something that you think, like the maintenance people, as opposed to hiring like securities?
I don't think you need security to do it, no.
Okay. But I mean, depending on what kind of damage that,
Well, yeah, that's a different issue. That's damage you're
2 cars
talking
away from
about.
where that all happens.
Yeah.
If they're going down the line or what.
Well, you know, Laurie, we're just talking about it now. Just take a look at it, and if, you know, you come up with a better idea than what we're talking about, let us know at the next meeting, and we'll move forward with it. If not, we'll do what we gotta do.
I mean, we
know?
were gonna price out cameras anyway,
Okay.
but I don't know how long that's gonna take. You know what I mean? And if, depending on when this damage happened, and if it was even reported.
Right.
Supposed to be
Oh, it's
reported
gotta
to the
be
office.
reported.
I assume it was reported to the police, but I can't say for sure.
Well, this is just things to look at in the
So
near future.
I'll look into this and I'll report back on that.
Okay, any other?
Just one thought on that too, if people see people parking there, if they can get the number plate number, we can see if it's the same offenders all the time, so that you know who's parking in those places to report it to, because then you'd have a list of who's
Right.
doing it.
We just don't want the residents confronting.
Yeah, we don't want to
No,
do
no,
that too.
no. No, but I mean
And we don't want
maintenance.
people leaving nasty notes on somebody else's car. We've been through that before.
I'm talking about maintenance, writing them down if they
Yeah.
see
Well,
them.
maintenance
That's
can
what I
ticket
said.
them.
Right.
I have violation
You have
notices.
tickets?
Oh,
Yeah,
you do?
the
That's
orange
good,
ones.
that's good,
Oh, okay.
I have violation notices, so if they see it, they can attach the notice
good,
to the
Oh, good.
vehicles.
That's even better.
And if they continue to do it,
right.
as long as they don't have a placard and they're just not displaying it,
Mhm.
because sometimes people forget.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
Yeah.
but I already do have the violation notices, so we'll look into this.
And there was one other comment that I had talked to you, I brought forward to you, was about the emergency rope pulling things there.
Oh, the
Yeah. Could you explain that to the public or the housing authority people, what they can do and how they gotta do, like you explained to me?
oh, the buddy poles.
Yes.
We found that in the buddy poles were originally in all the units, in the bathroom and in the bedroom. But during one of our HUD inspections, we had gone through, all the buddy poles have to be straight down. Well, no sooner did we go through the apartments, weren't people tying the buddy poles back up because, oh, the cat gets into it, or I don't like it down like that. And we were cited for that. We had points taken off our inspection. So I had called HUD, I called the state, and they said, we're not, if it's there, it has to work. If it isn't there, we're not obligated to provide it. But say, if we take the pull out, because it doesn't report to anywhere but in the building. So it's not like it kind of gives people a false sense of security, because they figure if they pull that, either police or fire are gonna come. They're not coming. That's not what that's for. But if somebody feels that strongly and they want a buddy pull in, they can fill out a reasonable accommodation and we can ask maintenance to put it back in. But they just need to know that it isn't going to the police department or the fire department. And if they get cited on a HUD inspection, it's not gonna go well for them. I think that's really unfair to the housing authority.
No?
Like the cover not being on the furnace. I think that was really unfair to the housing authority, especially when you knew you knocked it off. All it would have taken was a phone call to put it back on. You know?
Well, at least now, as you explained it, it explains to them what they can do if they want it.
If
If
they
they don't
want it.
want it, that's fine. But if they do want it, just do, like you said, fill out a work order, and you'd be more than happy to accommodate them.
And that buddy pool will just inform the people in that building
Right, a light.
that you've got something wrong and you need help.
Right.
So if the people in the building aren't aware of what's going on, then it was, you know, it's not going anywhere.
No.
That's why we were hoping people would get the, I've fallen and I can't get up, you know what I mean, the lifeline things, right?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Because that at least goes to an answering service and they're gonna call, yeah, they're gonna call for help if you go down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Unless you fall outside, out of range.
Well,
this one is only within a few feet of the apartment.
That's it?
Yeah.
I call the
Most
same
of
boat.
them.
There are some that will, no matter where you go,
Hmm.
market or wherever they work, but most of us are low income and they aren't eligible. That's what I was told.
I suppose that's a,
Because there's
Kind of rough,
a
though.
monthly fee on those and sometimes.
yeah, that's true too. But if they only go a couple feet out of your building,
Yeah, like under the tree. But if you fall, you're outside and you fall, believe me, the first thing you're not thinking about, where's that put? You're just yelling help.
yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't work.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? Board members? No? Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
No, we,
No, what did I miss?
we have public
Oh, I'm
comment.
sorry. I did that, didn't I? I went backwards. Public comment? Anybody? Yes.
With reference to the one-way sign up at Packagug Village, at the end of the island, when you come in and you're gonna go back out, there is a sign right on the curve, one way out, and you do have to turn right. I don't know if there's a one-way sign at the beginning.
I don't think there is.
I'd have to observe that.
So we'll look at getting some signs and putting them where they should be.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start.
Now, another thing that I have observed, if a resident has a placard for handicap, but he moves his vehicle to another spot to allow his guest to park in the handicap, that's a no-no, isn't it?
Is the guest handicapped?
I'm sorry?
Is the guest that's parking the handicap spot handicapped?
Whether there was a handicap card in her automobile, that I do not know.
Because I actually have a placard,
Yeah,
so I can park in any spot, anywhere, as long as I'm not in a fire lane. Or, you know what I mean, illegally parked. So that means I could come into any development, park in a spot that's clearly marked handicap, or park in a spot that isn't, by law. So that means anybody that's visiting our property, if they're handicapped with a placard or a plate,
they can, I
they can
understand
park
that.
wherever
That's
they
what you're
want.
saying.
But whether this particular vehicle has a placard, that I cannot verify.
If they didn't have a placard or a plate, they shouldn't have been parking in the spot.
I know.
And the resident that moved for them, why would they have moved if they could park illegally anyway?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't,
They probably don't understand the process.
it's clearly stated on
Right.
the back of it. I mean,
I know, but sometimes they don't read it.
so that'll be part of our handicap problem to address. But I mean, on the weekends, it's hard because who are you gonna get? You
Yeah, I
what
know.
mean? And we're not gonna be paying overtime for people to come in and police the parking lots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can call the
Yeah.
police station and ask them if they would ride through. But I mean, I don't know, like Ann brought up, you know, on private property, will they ticket? You know? They might. I mean, we can tow them as the housing authority.
but I don't know if the town police can get to.
But that's something we can ask,
Yeah.
if the police would drive through and
And
ticket the violators. But all our residents that are in fact handicapped with the placard and the plate need to make sure they're putting it in the window. Because then they'd be subject to the same thing.
Rules.
All right, so we can ask the police about that.
One more thing. Referring to the buddy light system, the people are not explained to them how that works. That's the problem. They didn't know by pulling the string, they thought it was either going to go to the fire department or the police department, which it does not. It has the light come on. The residents are supposed to, when they hear that, go out and check who needs the help. But I'm going to say the majority of the residents doesn't know how it works because it was never explained to them.
Isn't it in the rules and isn't it in the handbook?
should be the
I can't answer that, to be honest with
But you
you.
know what? We can do a separate sheet that'll go out on,
With the resident letter.
yeah, to explain in the buddy pulse
Yeah.
situation.
Can
And if
also-
anybody that doesn't have one that needs one can request it as a reasonable accommodation, because that would be reasonable, but they have to understand if they live in a federal unit and that unit comes up on the radar of the inspector as being tied up, not gonna be good for
That's
them.
federal.
That's federal.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You can also-
I don't know how those regulations are. Of course, I'm in.
State.
You
Roberta?
can also go in the newsletter, the monthly newsletter, and that
Right.
would be another reminder. I
And-
think sending out the letter to each individual resident is a good idea because then they can't say they didn't receive it either, so they understand. Especially if we're going to have any repercussions, if it comes up on inspections, they
Right.
need to do that. And it might be a good idea to have them sign that they've received it. That's up to you, Laurie, because that's your bailiwick.
Well, I think she's right, the people need the knowledge of
They have to.
what's right with it or what's wrong, and how it works.
Yeah. And even
And
just
it's not-
recently, someone said to me, I don't know how it works. And they've been there they're not a new resident.
Okay, Debbie, when you show, do you talk about the buddy pulls at all? Okay, so chances are good they don't know. So that's something we can take care of. I mean, I would ask if I was in an apartment, what is
What's
this?
this? Yeah.
What is this string for? I mean, it's, but we can make sure that they know. We'll send out a thing.
Good. Any other public comment?
B actually had a concern that she sent me. And I want to answer her in public. She wrote a letter. And
Thank you.
she's basically concerned about, you want to explain it, B? The letter that you wrote?
Did you get
Which one are you referring to?
She gave me hers.
Why, you wrote more than
Packard
one?
Village?
Yeah.
Take mine. Can you get through with that? I can take it. Can I read it?
That's writing.
You want to explain it, B?
Now, this is only to the best of my knowledge, and that I could be wrong. However, when Packard Village was built in the 1970s, it was to provide housing for the elderly with a environment, home-like environment. I'm going to say peace and tranquility. But now, there are all ages that are coming into Packard Village. Some of them, they have a handicap. It's not obvious, let's put it that way. They're quite capable, they move, they don't show any signs of a disability, shall we say. And I find, there again, it is my opinion, that the residents are far from the retirement age, which I'm using as a basis, as you can follow along in my letter, as I'm using as a basis to specify seniors. And to my knowledge, there has to be 8 units available for disabled or handicapped. Is that correct? Okay. But that should be for the seniors that have that disability as well. Okay? So, Packagug Village was looked upon, as I said, with respectability, and and in Auburn, to be proud, it was a section of Auburn to be proud of, which is no longer that way. And I'm speaking for myself, okay? And I feel as though seniors should be able to live without fear or, I don't know the correct word I should use, or the activities that do go on. And I'm not going to be specific about them at this point. Now, I would like to have be commented on this. Am I wrong about things? But has the laws changed or whatever? And that would be, you know, I would appreciate a response to it.
Yeah. We're actually required by Law B to house the people that we are housing. Placements are to be made in elderly handicap housing to achieve a mixed population of elderly households in 86.5% of the units, and handicap households in 13.5% of the units. So the 13.5 in state elderly housing, which is the front of Packagug Village, those 59 units, that gives us the 8 units. But the elderly, any elderly disabled person is covered because of their age. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They need to be 60 years of age in order to be eligible for elderly housing. Anybody that's less than 60 has to show a disability. Now, the disability can be one that you obviously see or something that you may not see.
Don't see. I understand that.
And we require third-party verification on all disabilities of anybody that's under the age of 60 in state housing and 62 in federal housing. So they're required, like in federal housing, anybody that's on Social Security disability or Social Security benefits, they're automatically eligible because the federal government has already verified that they are in fact disabled. That makes them eligible for our housing, irregardless of their age. Whereas in state housing, the state requires us to get separate physician verification, so that anybody that doesn't provide us with that, we actually ask them to fill out a state form, and their doctor has to verify that they are in fact disabled. And then that's the end of it. Fair housing requires us to house everybody. We cannot discriminate against anybody. That's the law.
No, I'm not against anybody receiving housing. Don't misunderstand me. But the original, as I say, the original plan of Packagug Village was for the elderly. And that's where the line is drawn.
But because we're considered state-aided public housing, the state dictates by law.
Oh, I understand.
It's chapter 121B, section 39 and section 40 that spells out who we house and why we house them. So the law is going to say that this that this is what you're gonna do and why. And I'll send you the copies of these so that you can,
I would appreciate it.
that you will understand why we
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
what we do. And the fair housing law is pretty specific.
yeah,
So we're not gonna discriminate against anybody. And when the state comes in and audits us, when they look through our placements of people, they actually look at the order that I've housed people, and they can actually look through anybody's file, they randomly pick files, and they pull to see who we housed and why. And did they provide medical documentation?
okay.
So we're following the lobby, and that's why, I don't know when it changed. I don't know when Packagug was built, what the stipulations were.
I think it's 1974, oh, the stipulations.
Right, I don't know what was required then. I just know, like, I pulled these off after I got your letter. I pulled these off today. So that as of today, I know that this is what the law is requiring us to do, and we're following the law. But I will give you these copies, and you can see where we're coming from. But I wanted to, in case anybody else had the same concerns,
That's good.
I wanted the board to be aware, and I want you to get an answer to your question.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
That's good.
Very good.
Any other public comment?
I don't think so.
Okay, now I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved, second.
You just need to sit there.
Excuse me.
Oh,
we
and
have a
schedule the
meeting
next meeting.
I should have written it down.
You're doing okay, Wayne.
It'll take me a couple times. Give me a break.
Sure. We'll do that.
Okay.
You want a calendar?
What's the next?
July. How we doing? You
So we're
better
not
do it.
doing July.
For August.
or
Unless
August.
need be.
And that meeting.
Okay, yeah, if there's anything comes up, I can talk to Laurie, and Laurie can get all the board members if needed. Okay, so we'll have September 1st, it'll be Tuesday at 3:30.
Okay. First Tuesday, yeah.
Yes,
It has
sir.
to be, it's the first of the month.
There's no meetings during the summer then, is that
No.
correct?
July and August.
Not unless needed.
Oh, okay,
As of right now, no.
okay,
Right.
yeah, all right, thanks.
And Laurie's very good about sending us stuff over the summer if we need it to.
Yep. So did I get my motion to adjourn?
There was a motion and a second.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
I
All opposed?
We're all in.
None.
We're gonna make a motion.
Thank you.